Hello there, welcome to the practice set on square roots. As always, please like and subscribe for more math help, drop a comment and question below, and check out the other lessons and playlists on the channel. Without further ado, pause the video to work these problems on your own, and then come back to check your work. All right, so going through these, we'll try to go through these fairly quickly. The lesson for this was long, like way longer than I thought it would be. But all right, first one, negative square root of 49. And so remember what you're looking for here. You're looking for what number squared, gives us 49, and that would be 7 squared. So the square root of 7 squared is 7, and therefore negative square root 49 is negative 7. 2, this is the square root of 100, and you could just go and write the 10 if you recognize that 10 squared gives you 100, or you might do this like little bit of a middle step there where you put in the 10 squared, so the square root of 10 squared is 10. And then for the third one, we have the square root of 121. This one's a little bit harder to remember. That is 11 squared. That's one of the ones that my 11s tables, after I get past 99, I just don't remember them as well. But that is one of your that perfect squares there. So that would be 11. Okay, so those are our first 3. Next one, now we get to ones that we actually have to think a little bit harder about. So for number 4, we've got the square root of 50, and I'm going to do this using that prime factorization method, not because I can't do it another way, but because that strategy will work well and it will transfer into other problems well. So I might look at that and say, well, that is 5 times 10. And 10 factors into 5 times 2. And so my prime factorization is 5 times 5 times 2. I am looking for perfect squares. So there's my 5 squared. The square root of 5 squared is 5. And the 2 is still stuck there. For number 5, we've got negative square root of 27. And so down here, we got like the scratch work area down here, 27. That is 9 times 3, and 9 factors into 3 times 3. And so my prime factorization is 3 times 3 times 3. We're looking for perfect squares, things that are squared. So there's my 3 squared right there. The square root of 3 squared is 3, and one of those 3's is still stuck under the radical. And the last one, we have the square root of 23. So we start playing around with that, and we're like, that can factor into 1 times 23, which is true, but not helpful. Okay, it's true, but not helpful. So this one is already simplified. Okay, next up. Evaluate for A equals 2, B equals negative 4, and C equals 1. And I mentioned this in the lesson. This is something that you're going to see in the near future in your study of math. And so getting used to that B squared minus 4AC, plugging in those numbers, and being able to get to the correct evaluation is a useful thing. So B squared, B is negative 4. And so I'm going to put that in parentheses, minus 4 times A, which is 2, and C, which is 1. And now right here, the reason I did that, if you have 4 squared, like that is fine. Okay, so 4 squared is 16. But negative 4 squared is also 16. So if you have the negative in the parentheses, what that means is negative 4 times negative 4, and that will give you the 16. Here's where we can go wrong. If you don't put the parentheses around it, that is actually negative 16 because it's negative 4 times 4. It has to do with the order of things. We want this one, okay? We want B times B. So that should be negative 4 times negative 4. So the one that we want is this one with the parentheses. I have seen tons of students get away with this. They write it like that, and they know that they want -4 times -4, and so they do it correctly. But a calculator will get it wrong for you. If you put in this into a calculator instead of this, it will spit out the -16. And I've seen it a lot. So -4 squared is 16, and then it might help right here. This is plus negative. So you've got -4 times 2 times 1, which is -8. 16 minus 8 is 8. And now we have some simplification to do. 8 factors into 4 times 2, and 4 factors into 2 times 2. So we have that prime factorization, looking for a common, or not a common factor, a perfect square. So there's my perfect square. The square root of 2 squared is 2, and this 2 is still under the square root. Now, we've seen this a couple of times already, this like the square root of 8. I have that memorized. I know the square root of 8 is 2 root 2. I don't have to think about it. And so if you do enough of these practice problems, if you allow yourself to handle these numbers and simplify them, you will get very fast, because nobody's really going to ask you to simplify the square root of like 150,264. Okay, that's not going to happen. The numbers typically stay under like 200, and most frequently they're under 50. Okay, sometimes you get a couple of them that might be bigger, like you might see like 150 or something like that. But so if you do enough practice problems, eventually you will see all of the things that you could simplify, and you'll start to memorize some of them. All right, simplify as much as possible. This looks similar, at least a part of it looks similar to what we were looking at before. And of course, there is a reason for that. So this is a order of operations bonanza that we have going on here, and we're going to take it one step at a time. Great. And make sure that we copy everything over. Now, order of operations, say we're going to start with grouping symbols. We have a grouping symbol in the fraction bar, and then in the grouping symbol with the fraction bar, we've got another grouping symbol with the square root. So you got a grouping symbol inside a grouping symbol. And then once you're in that grouping symbol, now we have exponents, subtraction, and some multiplication going on. And we're going to start with the exponents. Now, here's the deal, though. We can do multiple of these steps at once. So if I only do the exponent, and then I only do the multiplication, and only do the subtraction, and then like we're going to end up copying so much of this down over and over again, and it's going to drive us crazy. You do want to be careful, though, that you're not doing too much in a single step, and you're not accidentally going out of order. So I am going to start with the squaring right here. 4 squared is 16. And then I am going to remember that that is plus negative. So that is -4 times 2 times -1, which will give me a positive 8. And so I'm going to do that. So I did the squaring and the multiplication. I'm also going to do the multiplication in the bottom here. So 2 times 1 is 2. And that's pretty safe for you to do all in one step, even though that was multiple arithmetic. Now we need to combine the 16 plus the 8. And you'll notice I keep doing that. There's a reason I keep doing that. So 16 plus 8 is 24. And that's over 2. And now we've got to simplify the square root of 24. So 24. So we do a little bit of scratch work. 24 factors into 3 times 8. 8 factors into 2 times 4. And 4 factors into 2 times 2. And so your prime factorization is 3 times 2 times 2 times 2. We've got our perfect square right there. Okay, and all of that is over 2. So the square root of 2 squared is 2. And then under the square root, we have 3 times 2, which is 6. And there's actually one more step we can do here. Well, I'm going to do it in 2 steps, but we could do the division out. So we're dividing everything by 2. I'm going to split it up and write it as 2 fractions instead of 1. Okay, I'll let you kind of pause for a moment so you can analyze that. And -4 divided by 2 is -2, and 2 divided by 2 is 1. And so that simplifies all the way to -2 plus √6, or -2 plus square root 6. So there you go. All right. Not fun. It's actually some of my personally least favorite math problems to do like that, but it is something that you will need to know how to do. So if you need to pause here, fix some of the work that you did, make some notes to yourself about some of the pointers, like do that. It will be worth it in the long run. Okay, that's it. So don't forget to like and subscribe for more math content, drop a comment or question below, and check out the other videos and playlists that we have on the channel. Thank you for clicking on this video, and I will see you in the next one.